You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. It's Voss here from thechrisvossshow.com. There you have it, thechrisvossshow.com. Who knew? It's another show. Welcome to the Chris Voss Show, folks. The place where we have the family that loves you but doesn't judge you, at least not as harshly as your wife does, because you left the milk out again and you didn't put it back in the fridge. Anyway, guys, as always, we're bringing the most smartest minds, the amazing authors, people all around the world who share their ideas, their concepts, their mindsets, and improve the quality of your life. And all we ask for you from the little Chris Voss Show after 15 years is, please, for the love of God, or for the show to your family or friends and relatives, go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, linkedin.com/Chris Voss, subscribe to the big 130,000 LinkedIn group, the LinkedIn newsletter, go to TikTok on Chris Voss 1 and Chris Voss Facebook. Today we have an amazing multi-book, prolific author. She has written so many books, I couldn't even count them on Amazon. I don't have a calculator that goes high enough in numbers, evidently. So there you go. We have Jessie Q. Sutanto on the show with us today. She's written a multitude of books. Her latest book came out March 14th, 2023, called Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers. So for those of you wondering how to do the murdering, she might have some advice. Don't. The attorneys made me say that. So she's going to be on the show talking to us. Jessie is the author of adult, young adult, and children's middle grade books. She has an MSc in creative writing from Oxford University and a BA in English from English literature from Berkeley. She hasn't found a way of saying that without sounding obnoxious. That doesn't sound obnoxious. It's quite astute. Her film rights to her women's fiction Dial A for Aunties was bought by Netflix in a competitive bidding war. Her adult books include Dial A for Aunties, its sequel, Four Aunties and a Wedding, and Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers. Her young adult books include The Obsession. Of course it does. The Girl and Well, that was unexpected. Her MG books include Theo Tan and the Fox Spirit, and its sequel, Theo Tan and the Iron Fan. Welcome to the show, Jessie. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Thanks for coming. We certainly appreciate having you on the show as well. Give us your .coms. Where do you want people to find out more about you on the interwebs?
Mostly on Instagram at Jessie Q Sutanto, and my website is jessieqsutantoauthor.com, because I broke jessieqsutanto.com and I didn't know how to fix it.
There you go. So congratulations on the new book. How many books do you have, by the way, so we can get a pitch out to have people go look them all up on Amazon there?
So this year I have 4 books out. Last year I had 4 books come out, and the year before I had 2 books. So I guess I have 10 published books.
There you go. Congratulations. You're quite the prolific writer.
Yeah. I guess it shows that I don't have much of a social life.
Well, I mean, when you're writing, you gotta do the writing thing. It's a little hard to get out when you're writing and editing all the time, right? But it sounds like you're inspiring quite an audience that has built a following around you and your books from all different ages. So give us a 30,000 overview of what's inside Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers.
So Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers is about Vera, who is a 60-year-old lady who lives on top of her tea house. And she is very lonely. Everyone seems to have kind of moved on or forgotten about her. So she's kind of lonely and depressed. And then one day she comes downstairs to her tea house and finds a dead body in the middle of it.
Wow.
And she decides that she is going to investigate the cause of death because nobody investigates a wrongdoing better than a suspicious Chinese mother with time on her hands.
And this is set in San Francisco's Chinatown, correct?
Yes.
There you go. Yeah, those Chinese tiger moms. They're something else. Pretty fierce. So she finds, I guess, in his hand he has a flash drive.
Yes. So in his hand he has a flash drive, and just something comes over her, and she decides to kind of, swipe it before the police arrives, as any self-respecting Chinese mom would do.
It's a whodunit then? A murder mystery, would you say? Sleuth?
Yes. It's a cozy whodunit.
There you go.
And I would say the character of Vera is kind of based 80% on my mom and 20% on my dad.
What's going on with your parents, eh? Advice for murderers.
Well, yeah, just because they have like advice for everyone,
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Yeah, there you go. So with Vera Wong, has she appeared in any of your books before? Is this a new character?
No, this is a new character, actually, but she feels very familiar because I've written about Chinese aunties before. And she's kind of all of like those aunties distilled into one character.
It's interesting how the people in our lives and our experiences make up some of the characters that a lot of authors build when they build their novels. So I guess that's the spin on the unsolicited advice for murderers, and as she goes down the rabbit hole of solving the mystery.
Yeah, pretty much.
There you go. So it sounds like you compiled some people that were in your life and your thing. What made you, the topics that are in this book or the plot and everything, what made you develop this and flesh it out? How did it come to you?
So I first wrote Dial A for Aunties, which is about a young woman who accidentally kills her blind date and then has to get the help of her mom and very meddlesome aunties to help get rid of the body.
Yeah.
And the reason why I wrote that was because my husband, who is English, he came to Indonesia, he met my family, and he was like, "You need to write about your family." And I was like, "Really? They're so boring." And he was like,
normal
"Oh, no,
to me.
trust me."
Wow.
Yeah. And he was like, no, nothing about them is boring or normal. So I tried writing about my family, but every time I did, kind of like the drama, hit too close to home and became stressful for me. So then I thought, well, what if I threw in a dead body? And somehow doing that unlocked the creative juices, and I was able to write about my family in like a really fun way. And so same thing with Vera Wong, I don't want to write just about my mom, because that would be stressful as hell.
She might read the book and be like, "What did you say about?"
Oh, yeah. Well, she does read all of my books. See, that's the thing. And she really very much approves of Vera. So I was like, throw in a dead body, and then suddenly it becomes totally, like a really fun, lighthearted. Wow, can I say lighthearted when there's a dead body involved?
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
Lighthearted.
What's going on. But it sounds like a nice, fun romp, and Vera sounds like she's fun. She's a little old lady who's going to get. Hopefully, she doesn't get herself in any trouble. With the murderers and all that good stuff. But might be some danger from doing all that stuff. But yeah, do you are most of the characters in your books of Chinese origin?
No. So in Vera Wong, we have a cast of 5 characters. So one of them is Vera, who is Chinese, and then we have Sana, who is of Indian ethnicity. We have Julia, who is Caucasian, Ricky, who is Indonesian, and we have Oliver, who is Chinese American. So it's a good mix of people, I think.
There you go. It sounds like a lot of fun. Do you anticipate making more books, maybe a series using Vera?
Yeah, so thankfully Vera has been so successful that my publisher did ask for a sequel. So I'm so happy about that.
There you
I
go.
just finished writing the sequel, and I'm kind of taking a break right now before I edit it.
Oh.
So I never know if it's good until I actually read it. So
So you haven't done the final proofread on it then?
on the sequel, no, I haven't even
Yeah.
I haven't even read it.
Oh, okay.
Since finishing it. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Well, it's probably good to get some time away. You get a fresh perspective on it, and then you get back to reading it. Well, it sounds like it's going to be a hit character in the series for you. These are always good because people love series and novels and mysteries and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They freaking love. We have people on the show. They're like they're like 30 levels into some of their series, and they got multiple series running through, and sometimes they cross over. And people eat them up. They love series, man. They fall in love with the character and they just keep going.
Yeah, and because it's based on my parents, I just feel like I'll never run out of material, because I really a lot of like the things that Vera says in the book, like she has like all of this wisdom that is like very random. She's like, like don't drink cold water because it's gonna freeze the fats in your arteries and give you heart disease. And that's literally what my parents say. They're like, don't drink cold water, you'll get a heart attack. And they'll say stuff like, don't go to sleep after 9 p.m. because that's too late and you'll get brain cancer. It's just a lot of like really random pieces of advice that I just...
This leads to the unsolicited advice. Did they give you any murdering advice, your parents?
Not yet, but I'm sure, knock on wood, if I ever commit murder, they will have advice.
There you go. That husband starts acting up, they might have some advice for you, what's it old arsenic and lace? Put some arsenic in the old coffee there. Not that I'm becoming accessory, the lawyers just said I have to say. So there you go. Don't do that, folks. Don't get any ideas. I know with novels we can't tease out the middle and the end because you got to buy the book to find out what's up there. Anything more you want to tease out about Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers?
I guess I would say that something that I found incredibly rewarding is how many people have messaged me to say that they really connected with, this character or that character. So Julia, for example, she has like a 2.5-year-old who is a little bit different, from other toddlers. And I kind of based that on my first kid, because when she was that age, she was such an oddball, and as a mom, I was always so concerned, and people would be very well-meaning and be like, is she okay? Because she just didn't really talk to anyone and all that stuff. So it was a lot of things that I experienced, which I poured into the book, and so I'm always very grateful when readers reach out to me and say like, oh, I feel so seen. So it's been a wonderful experience.
Well, it sounds like you're on your way to a great Sue series and books that people will love because you've been doing such a great job, and it sounds like where you're appealing to so many youth, young adults and stuff, and youth. As your fan base grows up, you're going to have one hell of a following as they follow you through all your different books you put out.
Yeah, that's the hope.
That's the whole point of it. So anything future you want to tease out that you're also working on top of everything else?
So I did have a really dark, twisted suspense come out in August. It's
Oh
called
yeah.
"I'm Not Done with You Yet,"
Oh.
and it's about it's about two writers who go to Oxford University and do the masters in creative writing like I did. So it
Uh-huh.
was so fun looking back on my notes from Oxford because I went like over 13 years ago, and I was like, oh my gosh, I had forgotten about this and that and this and that. Um, Anyways, obviously one of them is a sociopath and becomes obsessed with the other, and it kind of chases her down all the way to New York City, where very bad things happen. So I'm
Uh-oh.
very excited about
Looks
this
like
story.
some friends and friendships are worth killing for in this dark, twisty suspense novel by national best-selling author Jesse Sutanto. Jane isn't happy. That's always how it starts, right there. Jill and Jane, John and Jane go up the hill. Whatever, I don't know. There's a nursery rhyme in there somewhere. But so you pull from this and rock and roll. Do you see any more maybe coming from this book? Maybe I'm still not done with you yet as a follow up.
I'll have to remember that title.
There you
Readers have been messaging me asking me like if there will be a sequel. Right now, I don't have any plans yet for a sequel, but we'll see.
go.
Never say never.
Is it a little bit like? I mean, I'm sure it's different, but is it a little bit? What was that one thing of the gal who rents the other young lady? White female, something or other. There was a movie on it, and it was about
Is
two
it
gals.
single white
Single
female?
white, yeah. Is it
Yeah,
a bit
yeah.
like that? Maybe.
People keep telling me that it is, but so
Maybe
I
it just
guess it
reminds them of
is.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Has the Four Aunties in a Wedding come out yet? I think was that the one that was going. No, it was Dial A for Aunties that was coming out on Netflix, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yes, and Four Aunties and a Wedding came out last year, I think. And then next year we'll have the final book in the Aunties
Oh,
series.
there you go. I'll have to go check them out. That way I can understand your family better and get all the goods on what's going on over there. Gotta renew that Netflix. So this should be fun. And you're putting out so much diverse stuff. Do you ever find it hard to, write about different things in different genres for different audiences?
No, actually, because so like I get into the mood of my books. So, for
Hmm.
example, after I wrote "I'm Not Done with You Yet," I was like, "Wow, that was really dark." I really need something lighthearted and sweet and innocent now.
Hmm.
And I think that was when I wrote my young adult rom-com. And then
Oh,
after I wrote that one, I was like, okay, now I'm ready for, like a
let's get back to
good,
murdering.
yeah. So it's been really nice. I can't imagine that I would be a happy human being, if I just wrote like dark suspense. I would probably be quite miserable.
Hmm.
Um, and then I would probably feel quite stifled if I can only write like lighthearted things as well.
There you go.
So it's been really
There you
nice.
go. You don't want to end up like Stephen King. He was a good-looking young man before he started writing books, and look at him now. That's a mean thing to say about Stephen King. He didn't deserve that. So there you go. Did you always want to be a writer when you were growing up?
So I was aggressively mediocre as a student, and
Hmm.
after I graduated with my bachelor's, I was like, "Oh God, what am I gonna do with an English lit degree?" And then I was like, okay, well, I'll try my hand at this writing thing. So I went and got a master's in it. And after I graduated with a master's, I was like, okay, I have a master's from Oxford, you know. So I am awesome, and publishers are going to be knocking down my door begging for my manuscript. And that did not happen. So it took another like 10 years before I got my publishing deal. And during that time, I did a few different jobs. I was wedding photographer, which, yeah, I really liked, but it was really, really stressful as well. But it was useful too, because you'll find that a lot of my characters are photographers.
Oh, wow.
Just because I know what I'm talking about, you know, when I talk about photography. And then I worked in my family company. So my family is in real estate, and I was terrible at it. Finally, when I was able to quit, thanks to my writing, you know, my cousins were like, "Oh, thank God."
Oh my God! Wow.
God, you know, like they were like, "Well, you know, congratulations, and I'm so happy for you. We only had you on because of nepotism." And I was like, "I know."
Oh,
thank you.
wow. Leave those people out of your will for your book proceeds, your book royalties. Just cut them out. Yeah. Just be like, yeah, I remember how you people were. Yeah, just cut them out of the will. So there you go. Well, it's been fun to have you on and super insightful. Give us your final thoughts and pitch out on the books as we go out to people to pick them up.
Well, so excitingly, Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers has been picked up by Warner Brothers with Oprah and Mindy Kaling attached to produce.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, yeah. So I feel like Oprah and Mindy Kaling have really good taste. So please trust them and pick up the book.
There you go. Order the book, folks, wherever fine books are sold. It's been fun to have you on. Thank you very much, Jessie.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so fun.
There you go. And folks, order the books wherever fine books are sold. Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers, doing the murdering. And I'm Not Done With You Yet. Boy, what a chilling title that is. That kind of just sends a chill down my spine just saying it. I'm not done with you. Like, who wants to hear that in a dark alley or something? Or,
Yeah.
I don't know, you wake up and you're like, why am I in this bag? And they're like, I'm not done with you yet. It's like, this is, I shouldn't have drank that, whatever. I don't know what the plot of the thing is, but just making up stuff. So thank you very much for coming on the show. Thanks, Mounties, for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss 1 on the Tickety Talkity, and Chris Voss, Facebook.com, and all the great things we do on social media. Thanks for tuning in. Be good to each other. Stay safe, and we'll see you guys next time. And that should have us up.